So we lost 9-20. This was probably the chance to lead the AFC West, but we fell short. You know, a loss against a divisional rival hurts the most. We were so optimistic, and at one point I was thinking, yes, now this team is built with some serious winning intentions. But then again, same old mistakes. The same issues we've been talking about week after week. It's frustrating, right? Now everyone is blaming Geno Smith, and honestly, if you just glance at the stat sheet, it makes sense. 3 interceptions, 0 touchdown, less than 200 passing yards. At first glance, it feels like, yeah, Geno's the main culprit here. But if you actually sit down, review the tape, and really analyze what happened, you start to see a different story. This wasn't just about Geno having a bad night. There are deeper problems here. Problems nobody seems to be talking about. So, stay with me, because I'm going to give you a clear, honest look at what really went wrong on Monday night. What's up, Raiders fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Raiders. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Raiders. Seriously, heading into this matchup, I was genuinely optimistic. Week 1 gave us a glimpse of what this Raiders team could be. A tough physical defense, an offense with explosive potential, and a rookie running back in Ashton Jeanty who looked ready to break out. We had a perfect opportunity to grab control of the AFC West early. Primetime lights, a divisional rival, and a statement to make. And for a brief moment, it felt like we were ready to take that step. The defense came out strong, holding the Chargers to a field goal early. Daniel Carlson tied it back up with one of his signature kicks. There was energy, there was hope, and the crowd could feel it. But then, slowly, everything started to unravel. Questionable play calling, blown assignments, and a lack of adjustments. By the time the final whistle blew, the Raiders weren't just beaten by the Chargers, they were beaten by themselves. Let's start where this collapse truly began. Coaching. Chip Kelly came into this game with a plan that felt outdated and predictable. When you're facing a defense like the Chargers, you know what you're going to see. Cover 1, cover 3 shells. It's not a mystery. Pete Carroll made a career out of that defensive philosophy, and the Chargers borrowed heavily from it. The problem wasn't that Kelly didn't know what was coming. The problem was he didn't design a single creative concept to beat it. In the first half, we lined up in 2-by-2 formations over and over again. 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. No creativity, no motion, no effort to confuse the defense. Against a cover 4, look, that's suicide. Their defenders are sitting back, matching routes perfectly, and we're running basic concepts right into their strength. 9 times in that first half, we came out in those exact same formations, and 9 times it ended in disaster. Checkdowns for 2 yards, throwaways, or Geno Smith taking sacks because nobody was open. And the worst part, Kelly didn't adjust until the second half. By then, we were already down 2 possessions. When we finally overloaded one side, put 3 guys on one side of the formation, spaced the field properly. Suddenly, things started clicking. The first 2 drives of the second half, we marched straight down the field. 11-minute drive to start the half, only to have it killed by a phantom holding call on Dylan Parham. And you know what? I watched that play a dozen times. That wasn't holding. The defensive lineman slipped, Parham let go, and the ref still threw the flag. That drive should have ended with a touchdown, but instead, we settled for a field goal. Next possession, same story. Great drive, moving the ball well, and then Geno threw that interception on 3rd and 3. That's a decision-making issue, yes, but it's also situational football. You're in field goal range. It's 20-9, a 2-possession game. Kick the field goal, make it a 1-possession game, live to fight another down. Instead, we force a risky 50-50 ball to Jakobi Meyers. It gets tipped, and the Chargers take over. That's coaching, that's preparation, and that's why this loss doesn't sit solely on Geno's shoulders. Speaking of bad decisions, let's talk about Brock Bowers. This kid is a phenomenal talent, but he was clearly hurt Monday night. Limping, struggling to make sharp cuts, even avoiding landing on his left knee when he went up for a catch. And yet, Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly kept him out there as a primary read on critical plays. Why? Why risk your top weapon in week 2 when you've got a long season ahead? There's no reason to have a limping Brock Bowers as your first read on a 4th and 3 with the game on the line. It's reckless and it backfired. Now, let's address Geno Smith. Look, I'm not here to defend him completely. 3 interceptions are 3 interceptions. He made mistakes, big ones. The 3rd and 15 pick late in the game was a killer. You simply cannot make that throw when you have a chance to close the gap to one possession. But context matters. Geno was pressured on nearly every drop back. The interior offensive line was a disaster. Dylan Parham, Alex Kappa, and Jordan Meredith combined for around 30 losing snaps. 30, that's not just bad. That's catastrophic. There was a shot play designed perfectly. Trey Tucker beat his man clean for what should have been a touchdown. Geno just needed to step into the throw, but he couldn't. Why? Because Parham was getting shoved back into his lap before he could even plant his feet. That's the difference between a game-changing touchdown and a wasted play, and it happened multiple times. Dante Thornton had a step on his defender later in the game. Same problem. Geno's throwing flat-footed, the ball is underthrown, and it gets broken up. Fans see the incompletion and blame Geno. I see an offensive line that failed its quarterback. Jordan Meredith in particular was brutal. 5 bad snaps, high, low, you name it. How is a quarterback supposed to read a defense when he's chasing the ball before he even sets his feet? And it wasn't just passing downs. We had a 3rd and 1 run blown up because Meredith completely missed a blitzing linebacker. Zamir White got the ball and immediately lost 5 yards. That's basic football. You have to block the man in front of you, and we couldn't even do that. And speaking of Zamir White, why is he even getting significant snaps over Ashton Jeanty at this point? Jeanty was averaging over 4 yards per carry. When he gets into open space, defenders bounce off him like pinballs. He ripped off an incredible 11-yard run, breaking multiple tackles, and then Kelly pulled him out for an entire series. What happened next? Zamir White comes in, and boom, -2 yards rushing. Momentum gone. Drive stalled. This is exactly what I mean when I say coaching killed us. You ride the hot hand. You feed your playmaker. Instead, we benched him when he was finally heating up. It's the same story with our play calling overall. The Chargers dared us to run the ball. They dropped 7 into coverage, basically begging us to take the underneath throws or pound the rock. And what did we do? We kept trying to throw deep into double coverage. Geno went 0 for 11 on passes over 10 air yards, 0 completions. That's not just bad execution, that's a failure to adapt. Last year, defenses stacked the box against us, forcing us to throw. This year, they're doing the opposite, and Kelly still hasn't figured it out. Raiders' offensive line was ugly, except for one bright spot, Colton Miller. While Geno Smith was under constant pressure, getting sacked 3 times for a loss of 30 yards, Miller held his ground at left tackle and was practically flawless in pass protection. On defense, there were bright spots. Maxx Crosby did what Maxx Crosby always does, forced a critical fumble late, giving us a glimmer of hope. Jonah Laulu was a beast, racking up 2 sacks and constant pressure. Jeremy Chin came up huge with goal line stops that kept us alive in the 3rd quarter. But the secondary, total disaster. Isaiah Pola Mao was picked on relentlessly. 2 touchdowns allowed, over 100 yards given up, and missed tackles all over the field. He's a box safety being forced to play deep, and it's just not working. We need true free safety, plain and simple. Until then, expect more busted coverages like the 60-yard bomb to Quentin Johnston. Then Thomas Booker. Look, he's not lighting up the stat sheet with sacks and big hits, but if you actually watch the tape, this guy is quietly our best defensive tackle right now. He's consistently disruptive, forcing pressure up the middle, and that opens up opportunities for the guys around him. It's not flashy, but it matters. Now, it's time to move on. It's only week 2. There's time to fix this. But it has to start now. Pete Carroll needs to sit Chip Kelly down and demand a smarter game plan. Run the ball, use play action, simplify protections to help the interior linemen. And for the love of Raider Nation, get Ashton Jeanty more touches. We've got the Commanders coming up, and rumors are swirling that Jayden Daniels might be out. That's a winnable game, but only if we stop beating ourselves. Geno has to bounce back. The O-line has to step up, and Kelly has to show why he's the highest paid coordinator in the league. No more excuses.